One of them touched and concerned the fact that the Queen Elizabeth Hospital and all other public health institutions in Barbados had gone on strike. And that you, the people of this country, could not access medical care and medical treatment. You, the people of Barbados, your brothers, sisters, and parents and friends, could not access medical care and medical treatment via the hospital or via any of the polyclinics. And that while that happened, we got no satisfactory response from the members of the cabinet who were in command. We got deafening silence from the then Prime Minister of the land, acting Francis Stewart. And one would have expected, I think reasonably, that upon Mr. Thompson declaring that he was back and in charge, that we would have been seeing him lend his energies to the health sector. We would have heard something about his views on the status of the health sector, and we would have felt his reassuring presence. It has not come to pass. And we have as a party, but I don't want to make it a political issue, we have as a people and as a country, because it transcends the interests of the Barbados Labour Party, we have as a people and as a country to be very clear. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Maria. We have to be very clear as to whether or not this is a satisfactory management of this state of affairs by the Democratic Labour Party. And if your verdict is that it is not a satisfactory management of the situation by the Democratic Labour Party, then I think the people of Barbados have to echo that sentiment and do so with resounding clarity. We might reasonably have been expected to believe that when once the Prime Minister came back and declared himself to be present and in charge, that the issue of the economy was the one to which we would have seen him lend his energies. But instead, even after the dismal performance of his Minister of State in a press conference, even after Francis Stewart shunned and avoided facing the public and facing the press on matters related to the well-being of our economy, we have heard nothing from the office of the Prime Minister. You heard Dale Marshall just now speak to you about the situation with our Royal Barbados Police Force. And at the very least, because it was a current issue of the day, you might have thought you would hear the voice and feel the reassuring presence of the Prime Minister, who is back and in charge. Not a word. This country in the last 2 months has seen a massive wave of industrial unrest. A man working for over 26 years kicked out of Invest Barbados. We talked just now about the Queen Elizabeth Hospital and industrial unrest there. McInerney this week, 20-somebody people and the union engaged in a square off. One would have expected that the Prime Minister, having come back, would have lent his reassuring voice and allowed us to see his energy. But we have seen nothing of the Prime Minister since his return. And this is where the danger is, ladies and gentlemen, not only of the Barbados Labour Party, but this is where the danger is, ladies and gentlemen, of Barbados. Because we are now caught in a situation in which we must ask, and you are welcome. Are now caught in a situation in which we have to let it be known as whether or not we are as a people satisfied with the way in which the Democratic Labour Party, and more importantly Mr. David Thompson, is treating us with respect to that which is fundamental to Barbados. Because the well-being and welfare of the Prime Minister is not just a personal thing. At the core of his function, has a very public purpose. And if he is unable to discharge that public purpose to the best of his ability, we have a right to know. In the same way that we knew the extent to which he would wish to discharge that public purpose when he laid open almost every aspect of that which he thought, how he felt about all aspects of life when he was seeking the office of Prime Minister. The level of transparency does not change once you have assumed and obtained the office. And it is a bad thing. It is a bad thing and a wrong thing for people to be led to believe that this is acceptable in today's Barbados. I want to close on this note. We don't have any lot of wealth in Barbados. What has made this country strong is the fact that we have had stability for a long time. We have always felt a sense of security in our leadership. You might not like the particular leader. You might not agree. He might be a man who uses muscular language, and people might feel the muscular language is not appropriate. But the reality is that you have confidence in the leader. Right now in Barbados, we cannot say there is confidence because we do not know what the leader is capable of at this time. He has not shared with us. He has not even condescended to do as our Lord Jesus Christ above indicated should be done. If you read the book of Luke, and I got two bishops in this room, and I believe it is correct, Bishop, that when you have in the book of Luke the revelation of the palms and the feet, and I believe the Lord above says, I believe he says, come and feel and come and see. Why do you disbelieve? Why do you doubt? It is for real, I am healed. But even that David Thompson has not chosen to do. Even that he has not chosen to do. And I want to say to you, therefore, that we from this room, must send a signal that Mr. Thompson asked for and received an element of privacy, and to that he was entitled. He asked for and received time, to that he was entitled. But we, in turn, as Barbadians, ask for and must insist on receiving the knowledge about the well-being and the status and the welfare of our leaders. It is not a matter that should be held in secret. If Mr. Thompson is unfit, then we feel sorry for him. He is unfit, and we know how to handle the situation. If he is fit, then he must show face and take command, Mr. Thompson. You cannot have the ship of state running adrift on the rocks. And that is what is in danger of happening. We saw it begin in Tudor Street the other night. We see it happening with the police force. We have seen it happening with the hospital. We see it happening across the entire industrial sector. We see it happening with CLICO. We see it happening with the economy. And ladies and gentlemen, in every case, it impacts on your well-being, my well-being, your family, and mine. And the Labour Party must ask that it cease. Good night, and God bless.